For the sky split open, not with lightning, not with thunder, with a light brighter than the sun itself. A woman was thrown from her chair. A man watched his reindeer scatter into the forest, never to return. Hundreds of people saw it, felt it, heard it, and for 19 years, nobody came to ask them what happened. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, central Siberia was as remote as any place on Earth. The Evenki people lived along the Podkamennaya Tunguska River, herding reindeer across a landscape most Russians had never seen. Trading posts were weeks apart. The nearest railroad was over 600 kilometers away. Life moved slowly there, governed by seasons and silence. No one in that wilderness expected what the sky was about to deliver. Then something changed. At approximately 7:17 in the morning, local time, the Tunguska explosion tore across the taiga. An object entered the atmosphere, traveling at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. It detonated at an altitude of 5 to 10 kilometers above the ground. The blast released energy equivalent to roughly 12 megatons of TNT. 800 square miles of forest were flattened in an instant. 80 million trees fell outward in a radial pattern from the epicenter. The Tunguska survivors left accounts that still disturb researchers. A man named Semyon Semenov sat on the porch of a trading post at Vanavara, 65 kilometers from ground zero. He later told Soviet researchers, "The sky split in two, and fire appeared high and wide over the forest." He said the heat was so intense, he felt his shirt burning on his back. He was thrown several meters from his chair. When he looked up, the sky had closed again. But the sound came next, a roar that knocked buildings sideways and shattered windows. Closer to the blast, the Evenki herders suffered worse. Chuchan of the Shanyagir tribe was in his tent with his family. The tent poles snapped. His body lifted off the ground and landed in a bush several meters away. He lost consciousness. When he awoke, trees were burning in every direction. His reindeer were gone. Some were later found dead, pinned beneath fallen timber. Others simply vanished without a trace. Another Tunguska eyewitness, a man named Ilya Potapovich, described the aftermath in terms his interviewer found difficult to process. The ground had been scraped clean. Entire hillsides were bare, as though a giant hand had peeled away everything living. The rivers ran black with ash for days. Families gathered what they could and fled south. Some refused to return for years, believing the land had been cursed by the god Ogdi. But here's what nobody talked about at the time. Despite flattening an area nearly the size of a modern city, the Tunguska event 1908 killed no one, at least not officially. In a region that remote, with no census and no government presence, how could anyone be certain? The Evenki were not counted. Their dead were not recorded. The absence of confirmed fatalities may say more about Imperial Russia's indifference to indigenous Siberians than about the blast itself. The first scientific expedition did not reach the site until 1927, 19 years after the event. Leonid Kulik, a Soviet mineralogist, expected to find a crater. He found none. No impact scar, no fragments of iron or stone, just endless kilometers of dead trees lying flat, all pointing away from a central zone where, impossibly, some trees still stood upright, stripped bare of branches like telephone poles. Some investigators believe a stony asteroid roughly 50 to 80 meters wide exploded in the atmosphere before reaching the ground. The airburst theory explains the lack of a crater. Computer simulations in the early 2000s supported this model convincingly. But there was a problem. No confirmed meteorite fragments have ever been recovered from the site despite over a century of searching. Others have argued the object was a comet, composed largely of ice that vaporized entirely upon entry. This would explain the absence of physical remains. Italian researchers in 2007 proposed that Lake Cheko, a small body of water 8 kilometers from the epicenter, might be an impact crater. And yet sediment core analysis published in 2017 suggested the lake predates 1908, undermining that claim. One theory suggests a natural gas explosion from beneath the Earth's crust, though this fails to account for the eyewitness descriptions of an object crossing the sky. The official scientific consensus remains an airburst event. And then came something nobody expected. In 2020, a team of Russian and Italian researchers published findings from microscopic analysis of resin trapped in trees that survived the blast, identifying tiny fragments of extraterrestrial material embedded in growth rings dating precisely to 1908. What the Tunguska event revealed was not just the power of cosmic events striking Earth. It revealed how fragile our record of such things actually is. The Tunguska survivors spoke their accounts to Soviet scientists decades after the fact, filtered through translation, ideology, and the politics of a young nation eager to claim scientific firsts. Some accounts contradict each other. Some details may have been embellished or softened by time. We have no photographs from that morning, no seismograph within thousands of kilometers. Only human memory, which bends but does not break. The Evenki knew something struck the Earth that day. They carried the story in oral tradition for a generation before anyone with a notebook arrived. What they preserved, imperfectly but honestly, remains the closest thing we have to ground truth for the largest impact event in recorded history. The sky split open over Siberia on a June morning in 1908. 80 million trees fell. The ground shook as far as Britain. And the people who lived beneath that sky, the ones who felt the heat, who watched the forest burn, who fled with nothing, were not interviewed for 19 years. Their words are all we have. What else did they see that no one ever thought to ask? The Unsolved Vault. New cases every week.